Social emotional learning isn't just about feelings. It's about building strong relationships, managing emotions, and making responsible decisions. Imagine a classroom where students are
It stopped playing.
empathetic, resilient, and cooperative. Embrace SEL and watch your students thrive, both academically and personally. Because when we learn together, we grow together. Let's make every school day count. Created by Vishwanath Jathan.
So from here, let's understand what are social emotional learnings. It is a process by which we can say that we acquire from children and adults knowledge, attitudes, and skills, and it makes us understand and manage emotions. Now, many a time we need to set and achieve positive goals. And also in this process, we have to establish some positive relationship when we make these responsible decisions. If someone would unmute and let me know what is their idea about social emotional learning. Anyone? Can I go ahead then? Would someone like to unmute and tell me what is their
Sir,
version
may
of
I answer?
social emotion? Yeah,
Sir,
sure, ma'am.
it's actually the learning behind the teaching.
The learning behind the teaching. Excellently put forward. If we had to describe everything, the learning behind the teaching becomes very important. And in this process, let's go through the five core competencies of social emotional learning, where we shall be able to help ourselves place better in this particular field.
If you're a parent, you probably recognize the importance of your child's social, emotional, and cognitive development. You want them to be successful in life, and you know what they want to learn at school will have an impact on their success. To make their students more aware and empathetic toward the world around them, online schools worldwide are integrating social emotional learning or SEL into their curriculum. But what exactly is SEL and how can it help your child? Social emotional learning or SEL is a positive approach to learning that helps students develop the knowledge and skills they need to think and feel maturely in their relationship with others. So, what does this mean for your child? It means that as soon as your child starts attending an online school program, they will be learning how to be more self-aware of their emotions and behavior. SEL aims to help students be happy, perceptive learners by cultivating the ability to think critically. How do online schools incorporate SEL in the classroom? Online schools strongly emphasize SEL in the student curriculum. In India, several leading online schools integrate SEL methodology into their learning approach. SEL programs can benefit all students at every grade level from K-12. If you are thinking of enrolling your child into an online school, it's advisable to inquire whether or not they provide an SEL program or related methodology for its students.
So let us, after this video, let us go into the five core competencies of SEL. Of course, there are hybrid versions, but we shall stick on to this where we can put ourselves in a better place to understand what is social emotional learning. First of all, self-awareness. This is one of the regions where we have to recognize the ability of our own emotion, thoughts, values, and how they influence behavior. So self-awareness becomes very important. And we as teachers, we should be setting examples to the students that they follow the way. Otherwise, they can easily get misled and think about various other ways. From self-awareness, there comes what is known as self-management. And this is managing your emotions and behaviors to achieve one goals. In our path towards success and in the path towards setting few norms, it's not easy. We have to see what is the external environment all about and then go ahead. And there is where social awareness comes into the picture, where we show understanding and empathy for others. We all are social human beings and we need to be empathetic towards others. From here, we learn the relationship skills, how forming positive relations, working in teams, dealing effectively with conflict. Now, this is not just restricted to the school levels or the college levels, but also in our work environment, where we have to deal with the organization in different ways. So, forming this positive relationships and working together in teams makes our life much more easier and where we can achieve our goals more easily. Going through all these four steps, when we finally come to the responsible decision making, we have to choose the ethical paths correctly. Ethical, whether it is wrong, whether it is right, whether it is good, whether it is bad. These all are constructive choices and about personal behavior and social behavior. So, this, in a nutshell, is put together with the core competencies. It is much more larger than what we are assuming, and much more because, as I told you earlier, when we come into this mode, we come into a lot of hybrid versions. So, quickly going through the self-awareness part, there is identification of emotions. There is, we try to be accurate in self-perception. There is recognizing of each other's strengths and also building self-confidence and self-efficiency. When we go to social awareness, the perspective taking part becomes important. Empathy towards others, appreciating diversity, like all our five fingers are never same, we should show empathy towards others and appreciate the diversity. The most important thing when we proceed ahead is the respect for others. From here, we move on to the relationship skills. And of course, life is much better when you communicate, when we socially engage ourselves and build relationships through teamwork. Our responsibility uh, lies in making the correct decisions where we identify, we analyze, we solve, we evaluate, we reflect, and then we take that as a responsibility. And moreover, if it's ethically responsible, it's much better. Self-management is something which is the need of the hour. We usually start our day with prayers and meditation. And this imposes a sense of resilience in us. The stress management levels, if worked on, can be reduced along with self-discipline and self-motivation. The goal setting becomes much more easier, and this all together puts in all the organizational skills in place. Now, from here, if we see how is SEL good for both the students and the teachers, it would be worthwhile noting there are many positive points here. But let's restrict ourselves to a few points whereby which we would come to know how good it is. Let's check out the benefits to the students. Improved academic performance. There's, of course, better emotional regulation, enhanced social skill, and it increases the empathy and compassion towards fellow students. So this is how it benefits the students in general. Let's see how it benefits the teachers. It reduces the stress and burnout. The classroom management is much better. There is enhanced relationship, and overall, we have a personal satisfaction that we have achieved our goals and we have seen the day through. So when we actually go into these points, before I would explain this, would anyone unmute and tell us what would be the role of you teachers to foster the social emotional learning in the classroom? You can come out with anything. It's wide open to you. Would anyone unmute and furnish me with more information? Anyone? Rosina, ma'am, are you online?
So this is Sakura teacher here.
Yeah, ma'am.
I think if we have more of dramatic play kind of activities in the pre-primary section, the children interact with each other, they learn to socialize.
Okay. So Safura ma'am comes out with a very important aspect that we should put dramatics. And of course, if you would see the pre-primary section is the one which lays the foundation to the others. So they, under my view, they are one of the best who could shape up the future of these children and make them more empathetic towards fostering SEL. Thank you so much, Safura ma'am. Would anyone else like to add on to the points what Safura ma'am has told? Anyone? Would anyone unmute and let me know a little bit more about the SEL competencies? No? Can I go forward from here? So the role of teachers in fostering SEL in the classroom, first is modeling the SEL competencies. There are various competencies which can be mixed in the hybrid version too. But remember, it's the teachers who serve as a role model for the social emotional learning in school. Of course, they do demonstrate self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and they are responsible for decision making in the interaction with the students and the colleagues. So the teacher's job is just not restricted to the completion of the portion. It's much more than that. Many a school have already started integrating SEL into the curriculum. In fact, at the start, we had a video which tells that always check out the school which enforces social emotional learning into daily lessons and integrates it with all the plans and activities such as group projects, peer mentoring, and classroom discussions. Creating a supportive classroom environment is one of the best which would make it conducive, where we learn a lot of qualities towards others like respect, empathy, and positive relations. Using this SEL tool is to gauge the students' development and identify areas of improvement. We as humans are never perfect, so we have to look out for these improvement changes. Need not be just the students, but also for the teachers. Providing opportunities for students' reflection. This is on the basis of even what has happened in the past, which we could use it as a positive tool so that it becomes more easier for us to go into the matters. And now let us see integrating this into the different sections where I would require a little bit of more interaction from all you teachers, starting with the pre-primary, nursery to the KG section. So your, as earlier Safura ma'am had mentioned, one of the techniques, here we can also use emotion cards, ask the child to pick up and tell those emotions which you can see on the screen. Are they happy? Are they surprised? Are they worried? Whatever emotions. Read stories with a lot of characters which display various emotions and how the characters feel. And of course, dramatics is one thing which was mentioned. Also, incorporate songs about emotions and have children express this emotion to dance and movement. Would another few points be added by the pre-primary section so that we could have a better understanding? Of course, what I have prepared would just be in whatever I have researched, but what you could give me would be hands-on. So could one or some of the pre-primary teachers unmute themselves and discuss some more emotion recognition activities?
Hello, sir. Rosina here.
Yeah, Rosina ma'am.
Sir, you have incorporated quite a few activities where we do incorporate all these things. There can also be a feely bag kind of activity where children, pick up a card and accordingly, they can just show their emotions that whether they are happy, sad. They can have a circle time activity, a feely bag.
Okay, that was superb because usually we tell them to express, but if they express it themselves, I think that would be much better, where they could get the feelings from within. Well said, Rosina ma'am. Anyone else, any of the pre-primary section teachers would like to add on more points to what Rosina ma'am has told?
Sir, as I had explained in my workshop, one activity where we had done the speaking object, and that activity was "I'm happy because." So in the same way, we can have that speaking object, and they can talk about their emotion, what they're feeling at that moment. It can be sad also. Some are feeling sad, some are feeling angry. So they can say that I'm angry because of so and so reason, or I'm happy because of so and so reason. So that also can be done where they can express their emotions, whether what kind of feeling they're getting at that particular moment.
This is absolutely superb input because the very next slide, which I would display, is whatever she has told. So this is the emotion recognition activity which she has told, Safura ma'am has told. Create some feelings corners. Even we as adult human beings, we have a particular object which is very attached to us, like it could be even a pillow or a soft toy or uh, any other mode. So this is what she precisely told. I feel I choose to hug a stuffed animal. So what happens is that this automatically creates a feeling corner. And also, when there are role play scenarios where the children are expressing, and with that expressions, they are trying to manage their different emotions, like sharing and even listening to music or even stretching. So this is what they are putting forward when all these roles are enacted. And we as teachers, if we make this an effort, it would create some positive impact. So well said, both Rosina and Safura ma'am. If we take this further, we can also have group activities like building a block tower where the children must communicate and collaborate. It so happens that it's not easy to balance. So if two are helping each other, or even more than that, they are helping each other to build a block tower, it becomes easier from there. Many a time, these towers, these blocks fall down when the towers are formed. But what happens is that the child learns from this process that it's not easy to get underway and get things done. And building up takes a little bit of more time. Also, story-based games where the children create a story together, then they add parts, and this, of course, fosters creativity and teamwork within. Uh, Teamwork is a very important aspect. The word I should be replaced with we, that is WE. And in this process, it helps us, build better. The classroom environment also becomes better. And sometimes we have this particular word which we use that is pretend play with themes, like going to a market, going to a restaurant. I think most of the schools and even our schools do take the pre-primary, nursery, and the KG sections to different places. And this entails a lot of togetherness in them, where they are eagerly looking forward. Going back here and talking about cooperative play, now uh, we would see here that there's a lot to do with the initial stages of the child, and hats off to all the pre-primary section teachers because they are the ones who are actually building and building these stars and getting it to the primary, secondary, and even the senior secondary sections. So complete hats off to them. So what they have inculcated and instilled in the minds and in the mannerisms of these children goes a very big way. So puzzles and games, of course, that require teamwork, taking turns, emphasizes the value of cooperation. Here, we can increase the level by which it would be possible for them to get together and do things because they should also learn that individually cannot achieve all the things. There has to be group work and coordination amongst them. Setting up art projects that require sharing material and working together, also creating a group morale. This would be a very good art project. Then self-regulation exercises. So this 100% depends on the teachers who put forward things. Their mindfulness, in fact, goes a long way of practicing how to introduce mindfulness. Empathy building, use of puppets, dolls to act out the scenarios that teach and understand, then discuss the feelings and actions. The Many of them or many of you all have seen a puppet show, and uh, how the empathy building and understanding acts in this particular process, which makes them joyous and also at the same time sees in the efforts which is put together. The routine structure has to be done. We always, when we first enter school, it's the ground floor opposite the elevators, which we see, which is always well decorated. In fact, we always wonder is that why have the elder children not followed this, what they had done in their heydays. Now, we shift our focus to the primary grades from 1 to 5. So before I go forward telling a few points, I would like to see the primary teachers unmuting and giving me a few views about social emotional learning. Over to you, the primary teachers. Anyone, can you unmute and discuss a few points? Anyone from the primary section?
Yes, sir. We do activities. Suppose we teach a lesson, no. After that, we do some activity. So there was a story on Helen Keller. So there we actually the children closed their eyes and they were asked to do certain activities and realized like then I asked them how they felt while doing that. So each one of them they shared their feelings, and so then we just talked about how people who are blind, how they are able to cope up with the things, and how do you feel about what you have got. So a lot of discussion took place on that. So they came up with a lot of the children, they had a lot of feelings also, and they also said, yeah, we are very thankful that we have can see so well, and we can do our things so easily, so we should be grateful about that.
Thank you so much, Shubhra ma'am. And I think she's put in a great amount of reflections into what has been done. Not only that, if we take Helen Keller as a role model, deaf, dumb, blind, all these factors, and yet resilient. So I think this is one of the greatest role models which we can inculcate and get the feelings out of the children. Um, One of the other ways, of course, is as she told that, how do you get the feelings out of it? We should have regular circle time where the students can share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a safe and supportive way. Now, when we talk about all these things, there are various ways in which you can do. It could be a very animated discussion, and also in this process, even making the child relax and come back to its nerves. So the morning meetings are the best time where you can discuss the daily goals and expectations from a in a positive start to the day. And this, of course, can facilitate the problem-solving discussions. Of course, we sometimes fail to recognize that do the children have problems? There are problems which are arising, not just from what goes inside the school, but there are some external factors which carry on, and they do the best to avoid this. But in somewhere or the other, the mannerisms it is shown. So one of the main important things is to incorporate the gratitude sessions. Somewhere down the line, even we forget to thank the Almighty that for what he has given us. Yes, seen us through a lovely day. Yes, seen us where days we had trouble, but of course, not to forget that how we had overcome all these problems. And this is a very important thing. It could be just eating food and telling thank you, or it could be just telling thank you because you were there today as a part of my life. At the end of the week, where usually things narrow down, a reflection meeting where the children discuss their achievements and challenges. This would, of course, be a very positive way of dealing with things. When we have collaborative projects, this helps a lot. I think most of the projects which work and in the CBSE curriculum also tells they work with group projects and see that the students share the responsibility and communication together. It's not easy when these collaborative projects are done. You come across with a lot of problems which the parents also encounter difficult, but yet at the same time, if it's enforced, it makes them much better to go ahead. Um, the mindfulness practices, of course, I think we are adhering to this quite effectively, the deep breathing sessions, and clearly that when the children are silent and they are mindful of whatever is going on with their breath, they do relax and focus on their aspect, and makes them feel much more calmer than what it was before. So, for this, I would like to advise that assign group roles or projects to ensure that each and every student contributes. It's not just one student, otherwise, usually to avoid the hassle problems, it is taken up by one child and the child does everything. So, don't do this. See that each student contributes. Also, plan some service projects like take them to a garden, or even if there's a garden very close by, see also the recycling project part of it, where things would come out more easily, and debates and discussions are very, very important. The mindfulness projects that would depend upon the teacher about how to put in, but practice, incorporate, and see that they are reduced on the stress part of it. Now, the role-playing scenario, here also, if we come go through some historical or literary figures in role plays, which brings out the best in them, and what these role players have actually done to create and create some better support to the community in spite of apparent diverse contributions. So this is something which we have to look forward. From here, also, we could go to something which is known as the reflective journals, how the students keep a daily or weekly journal. Shouldn't be elaborate because then it would serve as a a routine study material for them. So daily and weekly, whatever small things they can jot down and how they have progressed. And this is, you can also create in the end of it a gratitude journal. A gratitude journal becomes very important for us to tell us the fact that, yes, we should be grateful for the small things in life. This can also be done through drawing or storytelling and various other forms. If I would like to say, Kashmira ma'am, can you put in some inputs in regard to the reflection and engaging part of it, where there is drawing or, of course, storytelling? But I would like to emphasize on drawing because you are a drawing teacher or art teacher?
Thank you, sir. Yeah, definitely we can give a different drawings and creativity with the symbolic drawing in the curriculum according to the subject. And
Uh, yeah, ma'am, go on, go on. So, what would be your creative elements which you would put in when the children draw?
usually I can put different project work which I can able to teach them perfectly with the more references and guidelines and with the little bit animations creative way, very good presentations with a nice write up and everything. So not only the drawing with the writing, letter writing creativity, sentence creative form, symbolic drawings and project work, uh, presentations, everything will go in that.
Okay, thank you so much, Kashmira ma'am.
Thank you,
And
sir.
it it requires a big heart to teach art. That is what I come across. So the things, the differences which is created in the students, making them more better and more trustworthy in the future. So this is for the primary section. Let's climb on to the secondary grade sections from the 6th to the 10th. And here I would like to see some teachers in this section unmute and tell me before I go ahead explaining what are the things which we could do in SEL as per the CBSE curriculum from grade 6 to 10. Any of the teachers, could you unmute and make this session a little bit more lively? Your inputs are valuable. Any teachers from the 6th grade to the 10th grade, if you would unmute and share a few things.
Sir, for the secondary section, I will say we can give some story write-up boards and some few drawings, and then each group should get the different with the 10 pictures. If I give you from the 10 picture, they can create the story. So whichever picture they want the first, they will select and they will compose a new story, and like this they do the storybook.
Okay, so this is another brilliant idea of connective uh, role play, where you connect different things and form a big image altogether. Thank you again, Kashmira ma'am. Anyone in the academic part of you could furnish me with more information in regard to grade 6 to 10. Anything which you have encountered, we can work on that. Your inputs are valuable, teachers. Anyone? Just waiting. There are some techniques which are already put on the screen. If you could explain those or whatever you encountered, it would be good for us to take this session forward. Anyone? Are there no secondary teachers in this room? No secondary teachers have attended this meeting. Anyone?
Good evening, Vishwanath sir. Suraya ma'am here.
Yeah, Suraya, ma'am.
Suraya here. Okay. I would think enacting history lessons and probably drawing out the moral from those maybe the wars or the fights or something. Composing maybe poems or songs or victorious songs or motivational poems. That also could help in social studies.
Superb,
Yeah.
well
Thank you.
said. And as Sarita ma'am puts up, build discussions. True. So this would make things much better.
Sir, also we could have discussions. It was one of the points mentioned. A lot of social issues or current issues, kids are very aware of them, but giving them a channel in classroom settings where they can discuss all of these also helps others to open up, express their views, and it teaches them to also accept another perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I totally agree with you for the fact that even in some of our functions, especially the one which we did it for the Independence Day, Viksit Bharat, where it was emphasized. I think the role play was a very good, where we inculcated some ideas and some innovation and brilliantly thought out because there were children who had never enacted before and they did, and they brought out the best in themselves. So I think being a little bit empathetic towards them and giving them that um, factor in mind that they can also do it brings about a lot in them also. Anyone else could add some more points to it? Anyone else?
So, good evening, Zainab here.
Yeah,
Uh,
ma'am. Zainab,
this
ma'am. Good evening to you.
regarding pair square learning. The
Mhm.
way we make a flipped classroom. Here we can talk about how peers are helping each other if they are sitting in the square form and
Okay.
they are
Yeah.
discussing about the topic, and then that's how they will be able to understand and grasp the topic in detail, like how we have the role play. Here it is all happening verbally, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Zainab, ma'am. As you see in the picture also where the four children are sitting, here the interaction is much faster, and at the same time, the response is much better also. What usually happens when they sit in the square system is there is no there is no complacencies here as to how to do. The children actually come out with their true issues and their true selves, the inbuilt mannerisms. So this is something which a teacher should watch out whenever they put themselves into these kind of techniques, because from this they can derive a lot of things ahead. We go into mediation groups where the trained students, where we train students to serve as peer mediators. And of course, what happens is that sometimes the things which we cannot resolve is resolved through them uh, amongst the classmates. And also, you will always see that particular child telling to another child that, please calm down, this is important and it has to be done. So this also takes care many a factor. Your service learning projects, of course, we are doing a lot of it, and in fact, we've got a lot of collaborations too. Anything to do with social related matters. Two very important things which did come up was one thing to say no to drugs, And if this is emphasized at a early age, this is the age where they usually pick up. And thanks to Umesh sir for initiating this. And not only today, we saw the newspapers also coming up, the Hindu, where it invoked a lot of patriotism in us, the history, the culture, and I think it is a good initiative. Thank you, because this makes our school a better place to live in too. So these are certain things. I think more of this environmental cleanup, these also have been done where our school regularly, after the Ganesh Visarjan, does go to Chowpatty and helps in the cleanup. And whenever this is done, it actually serves as a true reality about how things are going on. Also, it brings up your empathy and social responsibility. When we put this into our curriculum, when SEL is put into the curriculum, what happens is that the motivational levels reach a different height altogether, as I mentioned earlier by two of the teachers, how the historical events are done to making the ethical decision making, because this is not an easy task. And when we go through all these things, it becomes much better. Integrate group work in this SEL influence curriculum. Also, most of the time before doing that, the reflective aspect also has to be checked out. Case studies becomes very important, especially in subjects like economics or social studies, because some complex social issues and practice responsible decision making. If one of the social studies teacher could unmute and just give an example in regard to how we can use case studies, it would be much better. Anyone from the social science department? Anyone else? We had Zainab ma'am speaking up earlier. Could someone from the social science department teaching either economics, geography, history, or any other subject?
Good evening, sir. I'm Poonam Keshwani. May I just speak about this?
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Sir, this is with regard to English education. We were doing this education. It's an MCB, main course book unit. And then in that unit, I asked the children to interview maybe 3 to 5 people who were workers, who were, our domestic uh, our helpers on the domestic field, right? So especially the ladies, the girls. And if they had males working in their house, I said, okay, you can get in touch with the daughter or the wife. So, regarding their education and why they couldn't get an education or how much they've studied. So various questions, they framed their own questions and they came up with the answers also after interviewing these people. And that's when we had an entire 30-minute discussion of how difficult it was for some of them to to get an education. And that opened the children's eyes to a world which was much unlike their own. So that was a great learning experience that my children had uh, this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keshwani ma'am, for putting in those inputs. And true, I think she chose a very sensitive issue, that how our domestic health and the people centered around them, for them educate to acquire this type of education is so very difficult. For them, those current scenarios are much more greater than acquiring education. As a result, it so happens that they do not complete their formal education and go ahead with life. So this was well thought, and when this particular project is given or the interviews are given to the children, I think there is where the children actually think about being a little bit more empathetic towards others because they have taken many things for granted since their parents shower on them all the kind of things, whichever they need, and there is no hesitancy on their part to give them all the amenities, and they enjoy a real peaceful and a stress-free life. But it's not the same with the people who help around us. So thank you so much, Keshwani ma'am. So these were some part of case studies, and we also this is something which we always see the discussion circles need not be in a circular manner, but this is how we have open discussion, current events, which are heartwarming and at the same time they have different perspectives altogether. The social issues we've been having a lot, which is going on. For the case which is right now going on in Kolkata, uh, and what are their expressions towards this, and what is the government doing to take up this issue? It's a very sensitive issue altogether, and I think these discussions should be put into place at the same time, not elaborated. Going from the discussion circle, and of course, one important point to discuss in the discussion circle is there is a sense of community and mutual respect. That this serves as a very, very important aspect because when we discuss outcomes and the lessons which are learned, we learn the importance of some respectful dialogue and critical thinking. Uh, to the other mindfulness and stress management, I think because of the setup done in the pre-primary levels, primary levels, and even the secondary levels, when they reach the secondary levels, I think it is much better. We should thank all the teachers who in these sections have put in their efforts and moreover all these teachers are so expressive once you go past them. They put in a lot of energy and hats off to them because of them we get the polished products at the higher grades. So, workshops on stress management, the word stress management is very easy to use, but I think there are a lot of things which have to be dealt with. It's not that in the current scenario there must be some flow which is there. Also create a calm corner in the classroom where the students can take a moment and relax, following certain techniques, relaxation techniques, and self-regulation when they feel overwhelmed. So this part goes on, and then since all the groundwork has been laid, let's go to the next section. Let's go to the higher secondary sections. That's 11th and the 12th. Now this becomes more critical for the point of view that some children have consciously decided to do their schoolings of the 11th and the 12th grade in school. Now, this, I would believe, is an added advantage for the simple fact that they get 2 more years to think about what to do about their future. And at the same time, they are under the protective care of the school, the management, and the teachers. So, here I would like any of the higher secondary grade teachers, could be others also, that uh, how would they integrate SEL into the curriculum, not of the CBSE curriculum, but on a regular basis in the school sessions, any one of the senior secondary section, or it could be any other section also.
Uh, Usually, sir, whatever curriculum and everything is given by CBSE board, plus the regular awareness also we teach to the children. So in between, we try to teach them the social whatever whatever thing is happening surrounding us. तो जैसे ये साल सबसे ज्यादा बाढ़ आ गई, तो कहाँ पे आई, क्यों आई, क्या उसके कैसे से क्यों हो, कैसे कर सकते हैं, तो उसके ऊपर so like this natural calamity के related भी sometimes is happened, so that also we add to teach in that. Sometimes it is not mentioned in curriculum, but still we teacher teach uh, them in the different way, the different subject
Yeah,
with the different project and with the debate and quiz and everywhere.
true fact, true fact, Kashmira ma'am, and also this helps us know that we are aware about what is going on with the outside world, and going on with the outside world and places outside makes us more empathetic towards the world outside also. So, thank you for giving those inputs. Any other inputs? Would I request?
Sir
Yeah, ma'am.
Parvati here.
Yeah,
So
ma'am. Parvati.
as the class teacher of grade 12, what I find is that initial time of when the assembly starts and the initial 10 minutes, right? It's very, very important for the class to settle down mentally, physically, and emotionally because they have late nights. Because in the senior classes, they literally burn the midnight oil. And some of them, I believe, sleep at 3 a.m. And then there are multiple courses that they pursue. So they are really stressed out. So when I just let them just be themselves, because teaching, learning, all of that will happen. I just want them to sit wherever they want. I just allow them. They just, they just talk. I think talking solves a lot of issues, right? And I know most of us at the senior level are not very critical about the way they sit and the way they talk, and we treat them as adults, and there's a lot of maturity that comes in the way we handle them. So we tide over a lot of trifles. We ignore a lot of them, and I've seen teachers literally, most of us in the thick of things, the students open up to us, right? So it could be a joke, it could be some light moment. I'm sure your class is full of all of those, but then the learning happens as well. So we need to give them that time to be themselves. And also I would want a PE, just sports period for them, that in the break time or something, senior secondary students, if they could just go out and play. I think they need to play a little more so that they connect better. That is my understanding of this level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Parvati, ma'am. That was great inputs. And true to the fact that some of them are pursuing multiple courses and they have late nights, and some of them truly want to achieve something in life or, get admissions in some coveted institutions. So that first 10 seconds, I totally and fully agree with her that, it is the start of the day, and if the day starts well, it is much better. Also, adding to the fact that making, some sports or, a PT class probably a little bit every day would make them really enjoy, because there is where they can, you know, put out whatever frustrations they have and you have a good time, because that is a time where all their stress has come out and they are very happy. But when we usually see them climbing from the fifth floor down to the fourth floor and they finish their particular period of going up to the terrace and playing, they are happy, they are bubbly, and they are talking much more than what they are talking early in the morning, though they have been coming, some of them have been coming fresh. So this is truly a icebreaker in as much as we have to make them relax and make them breathe easy. So meditation, as we totally focus on seeing that the child sits in a particular position, I think sometimes we could change this also and make them sit in a position they are comfortable, and see that inculcating all these things make it much more better for them to come back on the next day and attend school. So there are a few things which are there on the screen, and which where the students' issues are discussed, and for that reason, I think we have made a mark. We've got a general studies period also for them where we discuss uh, many of the common issues which are going on and related. Also, further, if you could inculcate some study skills, this would help them in the future. Project-based learning is what actually the CBSE curriculum lays full emphasis on, where we need both the projects, the individual project and the group project, because this is a great learning experience for them. And not only that, it increases their personal growth altogether. Uh, the leadership opportunities are also offered to them because these are certain skills which they should focus on. And any of the entrance exam, the decision making part is a very important part, and effective communication, which goes about a big way. And these leadership opportunities should be there in the future and further enhanced. The critical thinking aspect, yes, we've got it in the curriculum also. And how do we put it? Allowing the students to practice a little bit of responsible decision making. So this is required, and this is necessary that this is inculcated. Um, when we come into the critical thinking further, what could also help is the debates for them. The debates is very important, and the integrated service learning project. So you can connect two things together or more than two things together, which makes it much better. And uh, looking at this aspect, we should provide workshops on stress management, time management, study skills. That is all that is needed. And mind you, these are the children who are going to pursue their career courses and their career goals in the very next year. So there is where we need to be. And I think Okay, Birla on its own has left no stone unturned for the simple fact that we do take them to different universities. We also invite other universities and institutions to come here and give them guidance. So this is a plus point in Gopi Birla. Also, I think from the career and the college readiness, we should also see them having some mock interviews, because this is where they actually falter. They have cleared many hurdle in qualifying for that particular course, but when it comes to the group interviews, the mock interviews, these are something which is needed. Um, So this is how we will put the SEL practices into the CBSE curriculum. And one of the important facts which come is a mapping. When we put it down in a piece of paper, it becomes um, much better. So let's see this particular techniques and the mind mapping part of it. And we change that mind mapping to an emotional mapping. And it's a very easy task, but it gets a lot out of it. So what we could do is that you are seeing the emotions on the left side of your screen. Now, what is required is put on the right side of your screen. So what you do is take a piece of paper and draw a huge circle. Okay. So, yeah. So I throw this open. One of the best mind maps, if you could send it to me on my cell phone, will be awarded tomorrow. So this is your technique in which you have to do, and we shall see to it that the best is awarded. So you can go as per your own mind maps also, but all related to the emotions, where you draw 5 to 7 circles. And in this, you exhibit what are the things which make them happy, sad, tired, scared, and so on. Many a time, children come to school because they have important assignments to submit or a test which has to be conducted, but the emotions, they are sick and they are not up to it. So this can be recognized. Draw lines to connect each one of them. After making a circle, see that the lines are drawn to connect, which will help us uh, progress better. So this activity I would advise all you teachers to do and submit it to me. Let's see who has done well and who has done very well. Uh, these 5 circles or 7 circles, which how much ever you want to make, and this connects the situations to the emotions. Connect the situation to the emotion. That becomes a very important aspect. And uh, also see that later on when you are doing this, you will learn when you discuss and share and reflect each other's emotions and how they have come up to doing all these things. So this is one other aspect which we go into the mapping, the emotional or the emotion mapping. Um, There are a few other things to discuss and a few videos to follow, but I think your session, which you all have encountered, has been a real uh, tiresome one for the fact that some of us have finished schooling and they have attended this. So wherever you are and whatever you all are doing, I think one of the 2 words which I can tell you is thank you. I have not yet finished, but I shall just show you a short video after this and then end up the
When
session.
emotions hit you, it's like ink pouring into water. It quickly gets more and more intense until you can't really see anything else clearly. Everything in your life is suddenly tainted with that feeling you don't want to have. You can't escape from it, you just want it to go away. People come to therapy thinking that someone is going to teach them how to escape from it. But in fact, what you learn is how to allow it to be there, welcome it even, to pay attention to it and see it for what it is. The ink is not the water, and the emotion is not you. It's an experience, a sensation moving through you. And when you allow emotion to be there without trying to block it out or make it go away, then you allow it to take its natural course. So over time, the emotion passes and you're ready for whatever comes next. I'm a psychologist. Follow for more.
If anyone would like to throw more light on this particular video, which was shown, the ink and the water, if you could come up with some different perspectives, please do unmute and let's discuss.
Uh, in that, I can say that glass is like a student's brain, and if we pour more knowledge into that, so everything will be inside with a different color and shades.
Okay, that was another good perspective altogether, a good psychological perspective for the thing is that many things are very clear, but somewhere down the line, getting more information and clouding your brain, just like when the ink was poured, it went out of hand. Any other perspective? Kashmira ma'am, thank you. Any other perspectives, guys?
Yes, sir. Can I say?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
sure, Kashmira.
sir, it's about being more expressive. So, in order to get those emotions out, you need to express, you need to be more communicative. So that's how you'll not build, not build in the pressure of these emotions inside your body.
Thank you, Sajida ma'am. So she lays a very important suggestion here, that is expressive. So when you are expressive, probably things have come out, and there are people to help you around these emotions which cloud around you. So we had two very positive feedbacks, one from Kashmira ma'am and the other from Sajida ma'am. Any other teacher would like to come forward and give some more suggestions here?
Good evening, sir. It's Sarita Nanal here. Can I just share something?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure, sure.
Okay, so this is regarding the LD students, the learning difficult students. Generally, as we are all aware, that these students already have a very low self-esteem because they are not doing well in studies. They are, like very, very negative already. And when they drop the subject and when they have to leave the classroom and come for the drop subject to either one of the three teachers, that's a very, very emotional thing for them they go through. They are not ready to accept. It's very, very traumatic many a times for me also. But gradually we have seen that only when we give them the confidence and when we give them a lot of examples of learning difficult people in life, how they have been successful, so it's definitely the motivation, the positive emotions which we can get them out with, is where we can make them comfortable with. I know this is not relating to the video what you have showed, but I just was listening to your workshop and I said I must share this, and there is somehow I feel I am not yet achieving 100% of what I can with these students, and I would sincerely like more highlight on these students and more highlight on these kind of particular thing because they are looked down upon. They go through a lot of trauma, and it's difficult for just we three teachers to get them up with it, so this is all I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Sarita ma'am. And I think what she brought out was a true reality, is how these are the teachers who bring out the best in the students, because the students sometimes have no one to look into. They are ridiculed. They are simply termed different terms altogether. And because of this, life is not all that easy for them. They have to fight their way through. What we have to really enforce in these children is to tell them that, yes, you all have a different ability altogether, and you all are the ones who can make the difference. And I think life is all about that, where we can overcome all these differences. And true, and hats off to all the teachers for the simple fact that how you deal with these students and bring out the best in them. So, of course, a very big thank you. And these extra subjects, which are they can opt for, makes them life much better, because they know that sometimes everything is not the cup of tea. And of course, one of the movies which highlighted this was Tare Zameen Par, where Amir Khan did uh, true emphasis on what goes through a child, and what goes through a child whose abilities are different from the others, and how they have to face the society and the school in general.
Sir,
Thanks so
one
much.
more thing, sir, I would like to
Yeah,
add
yeah,
one
ma'am.
more thing here.
Add on, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's more than the students. What I have seen in my tenure over here is the parents. It's the parents of these students who are not ready to accept and who go through a lot of trauma, a lot of low self-esteem. The parents more than the students, you know. So we have to work not only with the students, these students especially. We have to work with the parents more than the students. And I feel very proud to say that some of my students are really doing very well. Like it's almost that they're really some of them have taken fashion design, some of them are in Xavier's. Like to get into Xavier's, being an LD student is not a small thing or not a small achievement. So we have been working, myself, Kashmira ma'am, Roshali ma'am, continuously working with these students, but we have to work more, sir. Not only we three, but I would just take this platform to say that the other teachers and everybody have to work on this level, because we have to understand this is on the rise, you know. The LD students we can see in the primary, there are so many more, you know. So we have to more than just keeping our eyes closed and making them pass in academics is not going to help. If we have to work on another way with these students, you know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarita ma'am. And I think this is just like climbing a mountain where you're at the base and you have to touch the top of the peak. And one very true fact which she has put away, it is the parents, and the parents are the true reflections in what goes on with the student. Many are fact, they do not want to reveal uh, the abilities of their children. And in this process, what happens is that the child is forced to take those subjects which the child is not supposed to take. And the child, in a silent manner, suffers and yet tries to cope up. I think hats off to those children also who are doing that. But I think if we are a little bit more empathetic and create an environment whereby which the world is, of course, a better place for us to live in. I think this was a brilliant takeaway, Sarita ma'am. And what we have discussed today are not just theory, but these are practical ways to enhance our interactions and support so that our students become emotionally well and they can cater and meet to all the needs. It's not just the students, it is the teachers also who, who require it. And all of us do require it to be more socially connected, to be more socially emotional towards certain things which we had not witnessed. The papers are making headlines with a lot of things which reading it also becomes very difficult for us because when we read something, it goes directly into the mind and causes havoc in the brain. So I end this session just telling that let's socially connect and let's see that this is a better place to live into altogether. Thank you so much, teachers, for showing patience and attending this workshop. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Vishwanath
Vishwanath
sir.
sir.
It was a very
Welcome.
enriching session.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. In-depth info videos were too good. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for appreciating all the teachers. Hard work
Correct,
put in
correct.
by the teachers, especially primary teachers. And it was really an engaging and interactive session, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome, welcome, ma'am. Welcome, welcome. Thank you.
Sir, it was very nice session, very interactive. We really
Thank you,
learned a
ma'am.
lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you for showing the patience, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I'll take leave. all of you all see that you all have done the questionnaire. Thank you.
Yes, that is done. Thank you. Whatever we have learned from you in this